You know what's absolutely funny? The amount of memes that I've been seeing the past few days talking about the Montreal Canadiens and Connor Bedard. And how if you go over to the NHL's Tankathon standings race right now, the Canadiens are 5th overall when it comes to that Bedard lottery odds. They currently have 8.5%. At drafting first overall, you could see the list here. Columbus is number 1, San Jose number 2, etc., etc. But the memes that I've been seeing pop up on my timeline, on Twitter, on Reddit, even on Instagram even, it's kind of funny. And it's really funny because of one particular guy that seems to be getting called out every time people joke around about the Habs only having an 8.5% chance at Bedard. Hey, you know who hates Connor Bedard? You know who doesn't like the guy? You know who doesn't want the Canadiens to draft Connor Bedard? Samuel Montembeault. That's who. The reason we're talking about Monty in this video is because he's gone out there and had such an incredible past few weeks worth of development that all of the insecurities that you could have had with this guy earlier on in the season when he was initially acquired from the Florida Panthers, I believe it was on waivers, something like that. After all of this turmoil with the Canadiens and their injury situation, the transition from being a Stanley Cup final team all the way to what they ended up becoming, which was a first overall caliber team, first overall in the draft caliber team, I guess I should say instead, with all of that being just in the background now, it's a lot easier to look at the goaltending situation, take a look at Allen, take a look at Montembeault, and say, yeah, Montembeault seems to be the guy that looks more so than ever like he is going to eventually become that 1A, 1B, whatever, when this team starts winning games again. That's not going to happen soon, but just knowing that it's on the horizon based off of what we have seen, it's a pretty good deal to be having on our hands here. And sure, with the success of Montembeault the past little while, it does put the Canadiens in a strange spot where, yeah, all of a sudden they're winning a few games here and there. I'm not going to make it seem like Montembeault's going on a huge win streak. That's not the case at all. But he has been showcasing himself a lot more over the past few weeks, and it all culminated the other day when the Tampa Bay Lightning ended up being the victims of Montembeault and his wrath. I'm sure we all saw the Tuesday game against Tampa Bay, and the Lightning lost in regulation. Partly because of Montembeault. 31 shots against, 31 saves, a 9.39, and Montembeault completed a few robberies in this game. The one, or the two ones on Nick Perbix comes to mind right away. Montembeault with 2 incredible saves back-to-back on the rebound. And now you have yourselves a lot of discussion going on as to not only the draft position. I know I'm kind of bringing up this entire Bedard thing to open up the video, but that's just kind of an extra point. The Canadiens are still not winning games, but Montembeault has really gotten himself to a point now where you can take a look at some of these stats, and it just becomes a little bit nutty when you really think about it. Take a look at this. Stat Center on Twitter. Fewest games by a Canadiens goalie to reach 1,000 saves in a season. You have Samuel Montembeault, who got 31 saves against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Tuesday, who ends up taking 1,000 saves on the year with his 33rd game on this season. This is the fastest any Canadiens goalie has ever hit the mark, and it was done so by this gosh darn team. You can see all the other players. Jake Allen took 35 games in 2022 to get over there. 2002, no, I think that should be 2022 because of how it's formatted. Cristobal Huet had 35 games as well. You have Thibault over there, Jake Allen in 2021-2022, who took 34 games, and Montembeault is here too. Now, I'm going to go out there and say it. It's impressive that he's making all these saves, but being on this list is not a good thing. For the most part, it kind of means that the team in front of you is giving up a whole bunch of shots against, which allows you to make the saves in the first place. Sure, Montembeault is stepping up to the task, but it still isn't a great indicator as to the overall talent level of the team itself. But either way, there were a few other stats that were also interesting too. Take a look at this. Arpon Basu tweeted this out. Per Evolving Hockey, Samuel Montembeault moved up to 7th in the NHL with 16 goals saved above expected in 33 games this year. Remember, this is a counting stat. ANDREI VASILEVSKIY, who is 6th overall in this category, has 19.69 goals saved above expected in 54 games, and Dikembe has 16 in 33. This means that essentially, if you sort it out by goals saved above expected per 60, Montembeault has actually been the better goalie than Vasilevsky. Now again, this is a cumulative stat, which means that it isn't really a good thing if you're on here and you've only played a limited amount of games like the 33 Montembeault has. It means that he is being put in a position where the defense in front of him is allowing high danger chances that should result in goals, but he's just making those saves. In fact, if you go over to Money Puck, and you review their overall list of goals saved above expected, Montembeault is still one of the top guys. He's 11th overall on this list, in front of 50 games played Carter Hart, 47 games played Sergei Bobrovsky. You have Jonas Korpisalo in there, Jake Ottinger. Montembeault has saved more goals than all these guys, and the only players that are above him are, Linus Ullmark, who is very good, Sorokin, Saros, Hellebuck, Gustafsson, Swayman, Vasilevsky, Georgiev, Shesterkin, and Vejmelka. If you sort this by goals saved above expected per 60 minutes, so pretty much per game, you have the Montembeault party going down to 20th overall. He saves about 4.19 goals per game, which is higher than Vasilevsky still. In fact, it's higher than Samsonov, it's higher than Georgiev, it's higher than Shesterkin. So Montembeault, if you isolate some very individual stats, he actually is having a pretty good season, especially as of late with the wins against Tampa Bay and other teams. I mean, if you go over to his save percentage log in March, he's got a 906 on the month, which isn't amazing, but cumulatively, he has been doing a very good job in comparison to other goaltenders in the NHL. And of course, Montembeault is only 26 years old. He was only a second-year Canadiens guy with this season's worth of play, and he signed till the end of 2024, making $1 million a year. So there really is no reason to try to project anybody else maybe taking that 1A, 1B sort of role for Montembeault heading into the next few years. If he does continue to develop at this pace, and he sort of grows with the team in front of him. Hopefully the team gets a little bit better defensively. They start to make better reads in their own zone. Caden Cooley comes back. He's healthy. Jaden Struble is good. You see development out of guys like Jordan Harris and Kovacevic too. Hopefully by this time next year, we're talking about Montembeault as if he's a 9-10 goalie, not a 905 like he is right now. I'm asking for a .05 save percentage increase for next season, and that's good enough. Actually, no, .005, I should say instead. Because for a rebuilding team like the Montreal Canadiens, that in which Kent Hughes already said they're not really close to contending in the slightest, this is a pretty appropriate path, I feel. And even if it costs the Canadiens maybe 2 points here and there, 2 points every few days, I think it's kind of okay. Sure, you would have liked to have lost against the Lightning to get those tanking for Bedard points, but having a 3-2 win where you steal and squeak one out for Montembeault, that's huge for the guy's confidence. And heading into tonight's action for the Canadiens against the... Who are they playing later today? I gotta Google this. They are playing the Boston Bruins. So hopefully, whether it's Allen or Montembeault, I don't know who's gonna play at the time of recording this audio, but whoever goes out there, we'll see what happens with the overall goaltending. I mean, it's a pretty good matchup too, if Linus Ullmark is the guy for Boston, but either way, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the development of Samuel Montembeault this season, how he has gotten better, how he has been stealing a game here once in a while, and how Connor Bedard is going to slip himself away from the Canadiens' grubby paws if Samuel Montembeault continues on this trend. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.